County audit. I'm over here and show you my view right here. I have and actually my fan is not working in my car, blow air, so it's a little fogged up on the windows. It's just because the window is closed and it's my hot air. All right. So I found their honey hole over here. I found where in Senatobia, if you're getting pulled over, where you're more than likely going to get pulled over. And honest to God, I don't know what street this is. I just happened to see blue lights, and I whipped over here and drove past. Actually, the car was leaving that they had pulled over at the time. I turned around and I came back, and they were leaving whenever I pulled back up here into the parking lot. I was here maybe 2 minutes, and here you go. Somebody else is getting pulled over. Bring 2 cops into the parking lot right here. So I decided I would just chill out here for a few minutes. Those cops are pissed. Whenever I jumped out of the car and started filming, they realized it wasn't just them. You know, there were more eyes on it than just them. I want to, while I'm sitting here, I got an email from somebody that is subscribed to me on YouTube, okay? So he has a email. He had inquired into the St. Charles County government, all right? And his name is Dave. He got a response back. It was and Dave, if you're on here, I didn't catch exactly what the grievance was, you know, what they were doing over in St. Charles County. But he got a response from the guy that said, not all government property is treated the same for First Amendment purposes. The U.S. Supreme Court has established the public forum doctrine to examine whether certain types of public property are open to First Amendment expressive activity, such as a citizen declaring that an audit is being done. The courts have determined these categories are 1. Traditional public forums, 2. Limited or designated public forums, and 3. Non-public forums. Still, other government property is not considered a forum at all. The offices of public employees are not a public forum. The public does not have a right to enter offices to express their opinions generally or to interrupt business. Signed by an executive with St. Charles County. So Dave responds back to that email with a pretty awesome response here. He said, respectfully, you are incorrect. You are under the false impression this is a protest by an illegitimate member of the press, subject to the same fettering a protester may normally face. I challenge you to share this email with any legal counsel of your choosing, one with a strong background in civil rights law. You are unfortunately steering the taxpayers of St. Charles County into a very costly litigation and settlement. We have lengthy history with these cases, all favoring the plaintiff in the end. These cases tend to garner the attention of the news media, locally and across the country. When the finger pointing begins, and it will, you will be held to account simply because you are ignorant of the law. We are already in close relationship with the ACLU and will have their full backing on this case, as historically evident in our previous successful efforts. Please feel free to scrutinize all of the following, all of which is factually based and grounded in constitutional law and case law. I will address the issues of time, place, manner, the requirement of journalistic credentials, and the legitimacy of a citizen journalist, the First Amendment, and expectation of privacy. While not intended to be legal advice, I am confident in its foundation. Let me live chat. Okay. So this is where it gets good. All right. Time, place, and manner. Let's break that down. Time. During business hours, whereas a government building is open and accessible to the general public. I agree. Place. The public has the right to photograph and video record publicly accessible city, state, or federal facility buildings, entrances, lobbies, foyers, corridors, and auditoriums. This includes offices where the general public is allowed to be and not marked as restricted access. There are currently no laws prohibiting exterior photography of any government-owned or leased building from a public space. If the general public are permitted to be there, so can the press. Spot on. And then manner, okay? A citizen journalist may not interfere with the operation of government or the ability of other members of the public to use a public facility. A disruption would have to consist of more than the mere act of recording. In order to be lawfully removed, the journalist's actions must make it impossible for business to continue in an orderly fashion. Profane or abusive language does not create a sufficient disruption by itself either. Only if such language qualifies as a physical threat or fighting words, words that inflict injury themselves or tend to incite an immediate breach of the peace, or if the act, not just the content, of speaking itself disrupts business, is there cause for members of the public to be removed. Now, you hear this all the time. Where is, do you have journalist credentials? Okay, otherwise known as a press pass. In the United States, there is and can be no legal requirement or accreditation of any kind required to assume the titles member of the press, journalist, reporter, etc. Simply put, any citizen of the United States can pick up a camera and be a journalist to distribute information about matters to the public interest. Okay? If you're gathering news, or if you're gathering content and you're disseminating that content or news out to the public in any way, can be through live streams, can be through YouTube, can be through a website, can be through any number of methods out there. If you're communicating that information out to the public, then you are considered, by the legal definition, a member of the press. Okay? The Supreme Court has identified freedom of press, the rights that apply right there. It basically can apply to any citizen that gathers and disseminates news. Okay? Expectation of privacy while in a public place. And I saw some comments actually pop up right there. Let's see. Oh, there we go. Good evening. Good evening. So, when one is in public, the law holds that a person cannot expect to have a high degree of privacy. Thus, surveillance cameras, audio recording devices, and other forms of in-person or remote observation and recording are legal. When in a public space where you are legally present, we have the right to capture any image that is in plain view. What the eyes can see, a camera can see. Okay? If there's confidential information out within the plain view of a public area, it can be photographed or otherwise recorded. The onus to protect this confidential information rests solely on the individual or entity in charge of such information. Where does this apply? Well, Department of Human Services, health departments, when they want to call out about HIPAA violations, okay? HIPAA violations don't apply to a member of the public, a member of the press. Okay, anybody going into a public area. All right, HIPAA applies to the employees that are with that business, that are in the healthcare field. Okay, it's their sole responsibility to make sure that confidential information, personally identifiable information, is not out in the public view, because anybody can go in there. Anything the eyes can see, the camera can see. The First Amendment, all right? I'm surprised how many people do not know what 5 things, or what, I generally ask people to name 4 things protected under the First Amendment. Had a guy in Jackson, a probation officer in Jackson, just a few days ago, that literally told me he couldn't name 2 things. He couldn't name 1 thing covered by the First Amendment, and that's absolutely ridiculous, okay? The First Amendment of the United States Constitution states, Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion, or prohibiting the free exercise thereof, or abridging the freedom of speech, or of the press, or of the right of the people peaceably to assemble and to petition the government for a redress of grievances. Consider this as an attempt to prevent litigation in good faith, sincerely and in the interest of the good citizens that reside in St. Charles County. David N., U.S. Army veteran. Phenomenal information right there. And that's something I wanted to touch on, because to be honest with you, I'm tired of seeing all the, it's happening less frequently now. All right. But if you're going to go out and try to troll me, okay, don't troll me with, ignorant shit, being uneducated on what you're trying to troll, because you defeat the purpose of it. All right. People saying that, commenting saying that I'm not a journalist. Well, I have a website. I have the growing YouTube channel. I believe I'm an investigative journalist, okay? For the last 3 years particularly, I have been trying my best to get to the bottom of public corruption residing around Lafayette County, Mississippi. I have uncovered shocking amounts of public corruption, particularly, and it's statewide. I have never seen any more public corruption than I've seen in this area, and I can't imagine there being a state that's more corrupt than the state of Mississippi. That good old boy, just network is, I'm about fed up with it. It's absolutely disgusting. The way that people in positions of power go about power tripping, changing things to suit their wants. They go against established law, the Constitution, okay? I'm going to say this. My rights don't end where your wants begin, okay? And that's why, particularly here with this Holly Springs mess that's going on right now, I'm not going to wear a mask, okay? If I choose to have a bandana, that's the only thing I'm going to wear. If I wear anything, is a bandana covering, my face. Won't wear one of those damn doctor's masks. And I believe that any kind of, we're in a day and age. Y'all remember how it wasn't that long ago. It was a very short time ago. Everybody had to go and get COVID shots. I didn't get one, but so many of America, or a great percentage of America, drank the Kool-Aid that they were serving and went and got the COVID shots. Okay, whether they were pressured into it by their place of employment, or whether they were maybe they wanted to go on vacation somewhere that required it. okay? But for a city now, and this far after COVID, to come in and put an ordinance in like Holly Springs that requires one to wear a mask before going in, okay, is that not going against the whole the vaccine push that they did? What about the people that got vaccinated? You mean to tell me that they have to wear a mask? So what was the point of them doing that? Okay. First Amendment, right to petition the government for a redress of grievances. Okay. That right there, that's where I believe our rights under the First Amendment certainly can trump all of that. And then you got the freedom of religion in there. Some people have religious objections to it. So it's I'm trying to remember where I was going with that. But, oh yeah, one other thing I was going to touch on in regards to the Holly Springs thing. Notice on the last video I put out yesterday, when I went back and I served the notice of claim on the city clerk, look behind the glass, okay? Nobody's wearing mask in there, okay? The city clerk came out of her office, came to the window with no mask on whatsoever, and keep in mind, I'm already behind a plastic barrier or a glass barrier for the window, and actually has the damn audacity to ask me to put on a mask, already knowing what my answer is going to be, that I'm not going to wear a mask, okay? But actually has the audacity to ask me to put on a mask when she doesn't even have on a mask herself. Can you say hypocrisy? These are the people that the mayor is turning out and hiring. The people of Holly Springs, the citizens of Holly Springs certainly deserve a better mayor, a more honest person in charge, okay? Somebody that can be respected a lot more. In fact, somebody told me actually yesterday that the mayor of Holly Springs was actually the city attorney for Mayor, what's his name? The mayor of Jackson, okay? I don't know how to say his last name, okay? But she was his city attorney. So apparently she's an attorney, okay? Apparently she's a failed attorney because she was fired as the city attorney for the city of Jackson prior to coming on as mayor of Holly Springs. So if that doesn't tell you a thing or two, I'd love to know what she got fired for. I'd love to know what she got fired for. I was hoping, y'all, in the time that I was talking, I was hoping that we would see some action right here. Okay. Let's see. So when I pulled up, got myself a parking spot. They are literally pulling people over, okay? They're going down this road and pulling them over into this lot. And so I cracked a little honey hole right here. Just deciding to park here, see if I could catch some more action. Doesn't look like they're pulling anybody else over. At least not here for right now. I haven't even seen them pass back by. But hey, y'all go back in, and anybody that's uneducated about the First Amendment, about the rights that we have, about First Amendment auditing, okay, about sticking up for our rights, taking a hard stance for our rights, okay. Anybody that's confused about any of that, point them to this live stream, because I think I just touched on a lot of great information that one of the subscribers forwarded to me that he sent into his city government, okay? He's another veteran just like myself. If anything comes back over here, I'm going to go back live on YouTube. But let's see. Let me read some of these comments, actually. Haven't even been paying attention to that. Take those tyrannical bastards down. Well, you guys do a lot of help with that. Emails, calls. That's the primary thing that I attribute change to. Is people around the country getting mad and deciding to redress their government on shit that needs to be fixed. Okay? Let's see. It's facial recognition for identifying police officers. 1A, cop watch videos to build a database. Orbit 4 auditing. Appreciate it, bro. Louisiana may be running neck to neck. Yeah, you're right. Louisiana is very corrupt. Very corrupt. Plastic barriers everywhere, having to lean in and constantly repeat myself because I can't hear jack shit. Yeah. See. Name Coder has a great idea. Hope he's successful. Yeah, I agree. So I am Orbit. I'm over in Mississippi. Okay. With that said, I've got a little bit of an announcement right here. Okay. I have decided to basically morph everything to switch everything over and start doing things under a different name. I think in Lafayette County Audit. I think what I'm going to start using. I've already got the page created. I've already got the YouTube channel created. I've got the logos created. I got all that. Okay, is News Now Mississippi, because we don't have a News Now Mississippi over here. I'll claim it. All right. I think that might work a little bit better than Lafayette County Audit. But I took the name Lafayette County Audit because Lafayette County is a corrupt sinkhole, and that's where I learned to start holding these people accountable, bringing in some transparency. But I'm over in North Mississippi. Let's see, I got a bootlicker on here. He's gonna be gone as soon as I get off of this live stream, which I'm about to end anyways. Let's see. Well, if you read the complaint out loud, I'll know how to write a police complaint. Thank you. Hey, if you need help with any document, any court filing, I've filed probably 1,500 pages of court filings in 6 different courts on my own as my own attorney. Okay. Because I haven't had an attorney that's been willing to come forward and help me out on matters. And I can't just let them stall out, okay? Some of these are very important matters where it comes down to time. You know, the time clock expiring. And I've had to represent myself. I had to represent myself on when my ex falsely accused me of rape back in November of 2019, I think it was. The police department charged her with filing a false report of rape after they illegally confiscated my cell phone and downloaded the content. Okay. They charged her with filing a false report of rape. The judge in the matter, the municipal judge down in Olive Branch, actually they decided they were going to plead no low contender. Okay. No contest. The judge gave her a $1,200 and something fine, 30 days in jail, gave her 30 days time to appeal the judgment if she wanted, or the sentence if she wanted to appeal. I mean, I thought that no contest meant exactly what it says. I'm not going to contest it. You know, I know it's not a it's a finding of guilt, but it's basically they're not fully coming out and admitting it. But I thought no contest meant that they're not going to contest it. Well, this jackass judge um, gave her the opportunity to do that. Okay, but that wasn't where it stopped. She missed her timeline to appeal. Okay, so the judge then changes the sentence, saying that if she paid the $1,200 and something fine in full, that he will forego the 30-day jail sentence. And she's an habitual false accuser. Okay, $600 a month of child support is going to her every month for my oldest child, automatically deducted and sent to her. So basically, that $1,200 fine I ended up paying for, okay, out of my child support money that flows directly to her. You think that taught her anything, especially when she got to get out of jail, or she got to forego the 30 days in jail? So I asked for the court records. They tell me over the phone that in order to get the court records, I had to come up to Olive Branch and request the record in person. And on top of that, the judge, Judge Leslie Shoemake, wanted to speak to me, wanted to address me on. So I went up there an hour away to Olive Branch. Let me say I was baited up there an hour away to Olive Branch. I sat in a courtroom for 45 minutes time, was called up there to the podium, okay, because it was in open court. The judge lashes out on me. He says, Mr. Reardon, I'm going to give you a warning one time and one time only. If you ever call this court or come up to this court again, I'm going to have you arrested for contempt of court. You're not to come up here. And if I needed to speak to anybody, I was to call and ask for him directly. And then he said, what is it that you wanted to speak to me about? And I said, it's my ex, Your Honor. She falsely accused me of rape. If you let her off, you created a monster. And he cut me off while I was saying that and said, bailiff, take him on back. I'm holding you in contempt of court, $500 bond, okay? So I was already victimized from the bullshit that she did. She gets off scot-free, and this jackass judge holds me in contempt for saying that he created a monster for letting her off the hook. So I fought that myself. He wanted to actually be the judge that ruled over the contempt charge. I was like, you can't do that. That's a conflict of interest. You can't accuse me of being in contempt and then me go to trial and try that in front of you. Meanwhile, I don't get a jury trial, okay? So you're wanting to play the judge, the jury, and the executioner on this already fake charge that you gave me, okay? So I did a long, lengthy motion, tried to get it kicked over to justice court, did get it transferred out of municipal court to justice court, and then I got a note or a letter of dismissal from the city about 2 or 3 months after that, as soon as discovery came in, and it was dismissed. Unfortunately, I missed my window to turn around and sue them. I know now, if anything happens, folks, word to the wise, if you're in the state of Mississippi and somebody shits on your rights with that's in the government, a city, a municipality, law enforcement, whatever, you have 1 year's time, 1 year from the date of the incident to file with the municipality, with the city clerk if it's a city. If it's a county, it's generally the chancery clerk. You have 1 year's time from the date of the incident to file a notice of claim. That claim specifies in detail what happened, who basically was the person that caused it, what they did, and damages, an amount of damages. So that's what I actually did yesterday for Holly Springs. More often than not, these notice of claims will be denied, but it gives them the opportunity to settle them out, okay, prior to litigation. This is where you get your jurisdiction, where you have the standing truly to bring suit. Somebody asked me earlier why I did the notice of claim if I was going to file a federal lawsuit. because it gives them an opportunity to settle this out, for one, and for two, the Mississippi Tort Claims Act. In order for me to stick it to them and the Mississippi Tort Claims Act in federal district court, I have to comply with the procedure of letting them know, of properly notifying them. All right, guys. Hey, I'm gonna get this fucking troll off my live stream. Y'all share my content. I'll come back to you live if I see any action. All right, y'all take care.